What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I just got off work. It is currently 5 a.m. or 5:10. Just pulled a long 12-hour shift. So with it being 5:10 a.m., it is Saturday morning. So I got the rest of today and tomorrow off, and then go in Monday night. So we're gonna head home and get started on this video. And we're going to be finishing up the wiring underneath the dash, so we're going to get our Ktuned conversion harness that we got in from Ktuned. We're going to go ahead and get that installed and hopefully be able to put this dash back in here shortly. So we'll go ahead and get started on this video. Alright, so we are back here at the house. Got a engine harness ordered. It is on the way. I didn't want to cheap out, but also, I mean, it's not a specific track only car, so I don't need a fully depth mil-spec racing harness that'll run me $1,000 or so. So I found a nice street harness off of that racing channel. Yeah, so I pulled the trigger on it, got it ordered. It ran me about $550, I think, $561, something like that after tax. So it is on the way. It'll be here next Friday. So onto the Ktuned conversion harness for your 88 to 91 EF. So there's your part number if you guys ever want it. There's the harness itself. I'll give a brief explanation, or more so, let y'all check out the directions. I mean, it's got 7 steps to it. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, you will have to have this unless you literally know it by heart of doing these conversion harnesses. Me being somebody that doesn't like doing wiring, I mean, I'll slap a motor together. Like, I'll literally start from scratch and put 10 of these together before I'll touch any wiring. Like, I can't stand it. But it's got all the color codes that you'll need to do from switching or running these open wires. So you got your harness right here. So you got your main plugs right here for the ECU. You got some wires that need to be ran to the actual stock chassis under dash harness. You got your relay, and we'll get all of this stuff here in just a second. Got a really nice loomed up secondary harness, and I'll show you where that goes. This will pretty sure it plugs into here if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, it's got 3-prong. That's 3, yeah, okay. So you got 3-prong plug right here. This will plug up to here, and then this one will run. I mean, the reason why I know this, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even looked this over. This is the first time actually opening the box up and checking all this stuff out. But if you're an EF guy, you know this plug. This plug goes to the passenger side over here, close to where your resistor box and all that is. For EF guys, you know this plug. So with me being a big EF guy, this plug, I know that it goes over there. Well, when we took the headlight harness and all that, you got your plug. Once you feed your harness back through, that plug is over here. And I don't see it right now, but I do know it's over there because I touched the harness. So this will plug up to there, and it gives you a little bit extra wire. Let's see, there it is right there. The plug right there. So it'll plug in like so, and you'll run it underneath your dash, plug up to here, and then like I said, you got your other normal plugs for the ECU and everything, and then right there as well. So the only biggest portion, sorry, I had 20% battery life notification pop up. The only biggest thing is the wiring, so you'll be doing some splicing and stuff. I mean, honestly, as of right now, I may not be able to do the full amount of work due to I need some little pins, smaller pins. Oh, sweet, it's actually labeled. Favorite fan switch. Okay, awesome. Dope. Okay. So yeah, I need to get the little pins for like in here. If you can see that, focus. There you go. Those little pins inside there. I need to get those to make my life a lot easier. And then it should literally be a lot more simple. Now that everything is labeled, you'll know exactly what they are. I mean, you also got this right here to tell you. So I guess just in case you lose this, you do have this. But you'll want to keep this. That way you know which little part for the wires to go into. So say for instance, you got number 1, connect the yellow/green wire, which is for the fuel pump. So you'll have, I think it's this one right here. Yeah. So it'll be this little wire right here, the yellow with the green stripe, as you can see, fuel pump relay. So you'll take that Ktuned harness to A12/A14, one or both wires on the original EF/ECU plugs in the in the pass footwell. So everything would be on the passenger side, of course. That controls the fuel pump. So you will run that wire to A12/A14. So you can choose one of those two or run it to both. Pretty self-explanatory. It's just another one of those things that'll take a little bit of time to do. But, I mean, there's only 7 wires to do this with. Everything else is all plug and play. So you got your vehicle speed sensor. You got your CEL light, fuel pump relay, brake switch. You got the ECU power wire, fan switch, and then you got your engine coolant temp sensor, or engine coolant temp. So that'll run out to the engine bay, I'm pretty sure. Engine coolant temp sensor, yeah. Yeah, it'll run out to the bay for the so you can read it on your cluster. So that'll run out to the coolant temp sensor. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Just a little aggravating work if you're not a wiring guy. So I'll go ahead and stop talking and we'll get started on the plug and play portion. The rest of this, I'll have to, once I get up here in a little bit, get a couple hours of sleep, we'll go get some little connector pins and then finish the rest of it up. So I went ahead and plugged that up right there, and I got it tucked into the backside. If you can see, I got it rammed behind the steering column, and then I just got it just chilling on this for right now. We're gonna get everything after we get it all straightened up and everything, and then we'll tuck it all up out of the way. That way the steering column doesn't touch it and catch the wires, pinch it, and then have a bunch of issues. And you do not want that, because if you do, you are going to be in a world of trouble. And also, so the whole pedal assembly doesn't catch it either. The last thing we want is to pinch a wire when we're driving or even doing a pull and catching something, and yeah, it would escalate from there. It would just matter of what wire you catch, and we don't want anything being caught. So we'll make sure everything's tucked up out of the way, as well as the fuse box is just chilling right now because I have all of this off due to pulling the dash out and doing the shifter cables and everything, and the whole wiring situation. I feel like I'd feel more better having the dash out of the way so you can work with what you got right here. So with that being said, we got everything else chilling right here. Going to figure out exactly where I'm going to mount this relay. Probably mount it up somewhere up in here, out of the way. I still got a couple of the factory studs that come out right, where we go, right there. And you can put like a 10mm nut on it. So we may be using that to hold this relay up out of the way. If not, I'll drill a hole and tap it and make my own threads and mount it somewhere. But we'll get everything up out of the way. Went ahead and plugged that up over there. And as I was saying, I mean, this is a long pause. So we got that plugged up, that guy right there. And the rest of this stuff, I'll be honest with you, not exactly 100% sure what this plug goes to. But we'll find out. It may have something to do with the actual engine harness itself. But these plugs right here, they will go to the engine harness once we get it. And then these are just all ran to the stock harness. So we got that for now. Like I said, I want to wait until I get my little pins for when we do the D-pin and repinning. I want to make sure I got those before I go actually full into depth with knocking this little project out. So yeah, it's not that bad. It really ain't. So we got all of our stuff over here for our fuse box. All these plugs right here. It ain't gonna be bad. It'll be pretty simple. We just gotta make sure we got all the tools to do it. So this guy right here, we'll plug up there, so you got power to your fuse box. I'm still trying to figure out what this little dude goes to. Maybe something I'd have to look up. Trial and error, that's all it is. I'll be honest with you, I don't know everything. So you just work with what you got. So, well, like I said, we'll go ahead and do all that after we get our pins. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm really anxious. I hate putting stuff off. I mean, it aggravates me more than anything of not I mean, especially now being back at work coming, because once I get off, there's nothing open. I didn't think nothing about having those, or else I would have got them beforehand and have everything ready. But I hate starting something and not being able to finish it right then and there. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve. But we'll go ahead and get it later on. We'll finish this up. Alright, so since it's been a couple days since that first little clip that you've seen, I decided to wait on my engine harness to show up. So I got it through a seller. It is a TRC tucked harness. So that racing channel. It wasn't a cheap harness, but it wasn't, like I said, I didn't want to ball out on a full $1,000 tucked harness because it's not a show car, but I don't want to just all of this stuff, cleaned it up. I didn't want to throw in a OEM Type S RSX harness because I don't know. It's just, they're too gawky, they're too big. So I kind of went with a tucked harness, and I got a really good deal on it. It ran me $558, I think, shipped to my door. So I grabbed it. Now that it's here, I know that there will be some stuff that I'll have to do over here with the conversion harness. So I got my soldering iron warming up right now, off camera. Since I just got home from work, I went ahead and pulled this little pin out right here. It's A12. You can either do A12 or A14, as listed on here. Number 1, so I want to work on number 1, work my way down, and go ahead and put a check beside these. That way I know that I've already done them. And I want to take my time with this because, as y'all know, like I said before, I do not like wiring. So I'm going to take my time, check everything off, make sure it's all done right, soldered right. So I went ahead and depinned A12 as listed. Sorry about my fingernails. I do need to clip them. I just ain't had time to do it yet. Now that I'm back to work and trying to keep y'all some content going. So that's the least of my worries. So I got it depinned. I went ahead and cut it, spliced it. Focus. There we go. Went ahead and cut it, spliced it. And we got right here, it says yellow with green. There is 2 yellow with greens. So make sure you pay attention if you are using this Ktuned harness, conversion harness. There's this yellow with green. It's a lot longer. That is your engine coolant temp sensor. That's the wire that runs to that. You will use the one on this smaller white plug, and it's yellow with a green stripe as well. There you go, just so you know that I'm not crazy. There's the green. All right, and that will be E1 as labeled as your, if I can get it spun around here, your fuel pump relay. Just like it says right there, fuel pump relay. So you can either run it to the A12 or A14. It says one or both. We're just going to do one because it'd be a little bit more simple that way. A12 and A14, I'll go ahead and let you know. That way you ain't got to look it up. You're more welcome to, though. They are both just relays. And this will work your fuel pump. So that wire will be running to a relay. So, with that being said, I went ahead, spliced this end. Well, it's not that important, so I ain't gonna let it focus. So I went ahead and spliced that in. I'm gonna go ahead and get our heat shrink tube slid over that. Get ready to solder these 2 together and go ahead and put it back in its home spot. When you get that done, as you can see, got it ready to go. You will bring it back to its, if I can get the phone set up in a spot to show you all. So after you get that done, you will come back here to your plug, exactly where you pulled out the pin. And if you can see, how it's got this flatter part, if it'll focus. Hold on, be patient. Come on. What's there? Come on. Anyways, so you got that flatter part right there with the small little hole. And then you got this part right here. It's got that bigger hole. All right, so that will face down. So if you're looking at your plug like that, it'll go in just like this with the open down. And if you get it wrong, it'll be all right because you'll be able to tug on it. And if it slides out, you got it upside down. But you should be able to hear it click back into place. So just like that. So you heard that little click, give it a little tug, nothing. So it's in place. That's one of them. And I'm going to go ahead, get my toolbox, get my pen. So that way I can stay organized. I say that and I have misplaced it. There it is. All right, so I'm gonna get my pen. I stay organized. I'll go ahead and check. All right, so got that one done. And you'll literally just work yourself down the line. Go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you got your 7 for your fan switch. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and knock the rest of these out, and then we will catch back up together, and I will show y'all exactly what I've done. It'll be the same process as one. It's literally just a repetitive thing. So I'm not gonna keep showing y'all each individual wire. I mean, I'm sure you understand with the first one that it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not too bad. So if you're good with a solder, then it's cake. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these knocked out, get them checked off, and we'll continue from there. All right, everybody. So we got down to 5, 6. I'm having an issue with, so I'm gonna contact Ktuned. I'm gonna call them tomorrow, see what they want me to what the best thing for me to do is, because on the conversion harness, unless one of you all know, I'm not sure if you will or not, but if you do have some input, be sure to comment below. That'll help me out. But here's the situation we got. So on 6, you got your coolant temp sensor for the gauge cluster, and that'd be the yellow and green wire, which is, this is on the Ktuned conversion harness, yellow and green wire, engine coolant temp. So that's this really long one, and it runs out into the engine bay. And I actually just went online and ordered you can use the D series, B series style coolant temp sensor. So it'll be like on your normal B series and D series, it's got that little bitty small sensor, like a little prong. And I'll give you an idea of what it looks like. It's, if you're familiar with D and B series, they have that little plug. It's like this. So that slips over onto it, which this isn't the plug I'm needing. But I ordered that little sensor, and then Ktuned always also makes the conversion adapter. So it you'll pull this big sensor out, which the RSX coolant temp sensor is on the radiator. Well, clearly this isn't the RSX, and we ain't using the RSX radiator. So Ktuned made the conversion adapter. So you'll pull this sensor out. The conversion adapter will slide in here to your upper radiator hose housing. And so it'll thread in. And then you got your D series, B series coolant temp sensor. And it will thread in to the adapter. And then that'll give you your plug. And you just plug it straight there. Now, my problem is on my Ktuned conversion harness. I'm going to try to sum this up real quick so I'm not chit-chatting away. They want you to use that yellow-green wire. Well, here's a yellow-green wire, right? Don't seem like an issue yet. Well, here's the problem. On my tucked harness, that racing channel, when they made it, C101. So it's the C101 pin out on the big plug. Got the big 20 plug or 20 pin plug to the ECU, which will go up to this guy right there. Now, what they done is they ran through the same pin out. So this black, or this red and blue that looks like, yeah. That red and blue wire goes in here, and then this guy comes out as well. So it gives you an extra wire. Now, my issue is, boom, loose red wire, C101, that's it. The temp sensor for dash cluster, this wire is used on K-swap cars only. This wire is a single wire D or B series, like I said, temp sensor that is installed on the intake manifold or in the upper coolant housing, which that's what we're using. This wire is easily connected to the temp sensor, blah, blah, blah. So it's the connection is made inside the cabin near the ECU. This will complete the temp circuit. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, okay, so yeah, okay. I confused myself. So, I'm assuming that wire right there meets this one. That one goes to the engine bay, if I'm correct. Now, going off these two guys right here, I want to make sure before I start soldering some stuff together, so I'm going to call Ktuned still. I'm pretty sure I may have just figured it out myself, so I probably look stupid on this video right now, but you live and learn. I mean, that's raw footage. I'm not going to cut this out. Just in case somebody else down the road gets confused like I did just now. You may not be in my situation where you're running off of these two, which I wasn't even touching this. I was touching this guy. And I just happened to, when I got down to here, I seen it was a coolant temp sensor. I clicked in my head and I was like, oh, well, that's what I read earlier on this. So that confused myself. So now I kind of understand that it says this wire easily connected to the temp sensor wire on the K-swap conversion harness. So, yeah. So I'm assuming it connects to that wire, and then that main wire runs up in there, and it connects to the sensor. Don't quote me, but pretty positive that's how it's supposed to be. So like I said, before I start soldering, because that's what I use, I solder. I don't do the little butt crimps and stuff like that. I'll show you. These are brand new, man. I've used maybe 2 out of these. And I've had these for a while. Don't ever use them because I would much rather solder. But yeah, so quick little video on the little conversion harness. It's a mess right now. So once I get everything else figured out on this last wire, I'm saving this just for the fan switch, for the signal. And that uses your D series, B series as well. The fan switch sensor, or you can buy it off Ktuned, which I'll probably end up buying that as well. So yeah, that's those main wires. I got them all. Everything's all soldered up. Oh, everything's in place. That was soldered. This guy was soldered. Soldered. And then there was one more. Yeah, there he is. Right on the backside, soldered. So, got all those. Now I just gotta do some organizing. And fingers crossed, I'm pretty much done with the conversion part, other than what I just explained with the coolant temp sensor, and then of course your fan switch. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this out. I'm done talking. So next thing that pretty sure we're going to get into would be installing the engine harness, because that's the next step forward of what we just finished up. Be sure to like this video and leave a comment below if you wanna help me out. Make sure I did understand on that wiring part that I was mentioning earlier. So yeah, leave me a comment and see if it'll help me out. So y'all stay tuned, and I will see you all in the next video. I'm out. Peace.